It's been a few days, and the computer wound up coming off of eBay. Thank goodness. It came pretty fast. I got to get that guy a good review. As far as the shop, he was supposed to bring the old motor. He never brought it. Never got back in contact with me. So you kind of get an idea of what this last client was dealing with in trying to get his car actually fixed. So the previous video, we wound up diagnosing a misfire after we originally diagnosed the car not running. Now we had a misfire. It was 2 cylinders, 4 and 6, that were not having injector pulse. This is exactly why we're replacing the computer today. And I guess there's nothing really much to say. If you looked at the previous video, you saw that there was only 2 bolts holding the PCM in. You saw the process in which I determined that the computer is defective and the driver for it is defective. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out, and then we'll just look at some programming stuff. Hopefully this will be a 15-minute video. All right, I got the computer sitting down at the bottom. I just want to show you what it will do if you was just to start it up with the computer that don't belong in there. It just cranks. It doesn't do anything. All right, I got the vehicle info pulled up. I'm just going to go to diagnosis real quick, auto scan, and it should just simply recognize that there's some sort of theft issue. So out of curiosity, just look at all these modules. This in lock mode, immobilizer. Okay, let's just clear these out and program the key. I only have 1 key that goes with it. No, that's in there. All codes are erased. Let's go back out. Go to NATS. I think it's like something anti-theft system, Nissan anti-theft system. Turn ignition switch on, then press yes. Communicating with control unit, communicating with body control module. All right. After replacing or installing operation, replace ECM used part. Set vehicle to the following status, then touch next. Ignition switch, power switch lock, hazard switch on for prevention of BCM from entering into communication sleep mode. There we go. Got a charger on here, park, steering fully locked. Okay, so vehicle's off. We got that next. Okay, this procedure erase all keys and IDs. Therefore, all of the customer's keys should be obtained before starting this procedure. Do you wish to continue? Yes. All right, operations equipment. Insert intelligent key into slot, which it is, without depressing the brake pedal. Press push button ignition switch and turn ignition switch to the on position. Ignition switch changed from lock to on. After performing this operation, the system will automatically proceed with initialization. All right. It automatically went to the next screen. Phone registration. Remove inserted intelligent key from slot. Ignition switch changed from the position to lock position. At this time, the system enters a registration mode. Okay. Insert unregistered intelligent key to slot and then push. Let's check for status. I didn't know we had a security status somewhere. All right. Certain key, push and press the push button once. All right. Where's the security? That was my fault. I swear, I remember security light being on this. Oh, it's up there. Is that? No, that's not it. Damn, where is it? Oh gosh, let me see what happens. Security light that indicate blink 5 times. I don't even know what a security light is. That was my fault. Let's see what happens. After key registration, the system returns to ignition registration mode. Therefore, it is necessary to in operation operate according to file procedure. Okay, so I think we're check file keys register, insert key into slot. Let me see here. Okay. Uh-oh. Why do we still have a misfire? Still got a misfire. That's weird. Well, I'll be. Still got a misfire here. Let's go back out. Let's go back out. The misfires seem a little bit more aggressive now than it was before. Let's go to power balance, escape. Okay. Let's go to number 1. All right. Let's go to number 2. All right. Number 3. Number 4. Okay, number 4 is misfiring. Number 5. And number 6. So 4 and 6 are still misfiring. Where did I go wrong here? Oh boy, oh boy. So let me tell you what happened. All right, so far I went on ahead and scoped the crank sensor and synced up with number 1. All right, so all these here, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it starts back over to 1. They're uniform. I'm not going to question the peaks and valleys because they all look the same. So I wound up pulling the wiring diagrams, seeing where I need to be at. Number 4 and 6 are the ones in question, so I'm hooked up on, at the moment, the PCM. Since I verified that 2 worked, so I can get a waveform. That was number 42, red and white. When I started hooking up on everything, well, like, I have a signal from here on 40, was it pin 42 and 41 and 40? They're generating the signal, and I mean, I'm seeing a waveform. So let me, and I know I'm on the right one. Let me go back here because I pulled up a wiring diagram. Let's go back. Uh-oh. So number 2 is red and white. That's 42. And we actually have waveforms that are what we're supposed to be witnessing here. So number 42 is red and white. That's right there. Red and white. It's pulled up. I have a waveform. All right. So number 2 works. We verified that. 4 and 6 are our problems. So let's go back to where we need to be. Number 4 is going to be 41, and 40 is going to be number 6. That's the violet and red, and whatever the red and L is. So right behind that, there's like a pink and a light blue, but then behind that there's the violet and red. Hook up on that. See here, we have a waveform. So I need to go back to the injector and hook up on that and see what's going on. So I went and did a compression test. We're making 120, which is definitely enough to run the car. I went and checked for signals, and it was crazy. I think I was hooked up on the wrong side, I guess. But the signals match these signals inside the car. And I got those overlapped here. Unless there's a, well, I don't think it's going to be a connection problem, because the voltage reference is there. It showed that it was making 12 volts. And then, where's it at? Showed I was making 12 volts, and then I had a waveform image. Did it load? There we go. So I overlapped them. This was the red trace was the signal outside, and then the green trace was the signal inside, and they're overlapping. So it shows that it's generating a signal, unless I'm hooked up on the wrong thing. But they match. They match. So the injectors for 6 seem to be working, unless I'm throwing myself off. But they're overlapping. There's no injector that's going to be, if I hooked up on the wrong one and I looked at the wiring diagram, I'm pierced in on number 6. There's no reason why I shouldn't be overlapping, because I'm on the corresponding one. This is interesting. I know we're missing fuel. Pulled the spark plug out, inspected that. So I'm hooked up here on the signal side with this jumper wire. I'm gonna be the signal grounding the injector out. Now on our bank 2, our alpha is trying to add 25%, but if I simulate the injector, look how it drops. Like, am I just dealing with a simple connection problem, like I was originally thinking that I just totally probably overlooked? But there's an injector waveform though. Why the injector isn't working when it shows a waveform? This is what confuses me. Load testing the signal side, you can see that the light's illuminating for the signal, so it has the capabilities of activating that injector, and we swapped them, if you remember in the last video. So I pulled the intake back off, and if you notice in the valves here is dry. Down there on 2, 4 is wet, 6 is wet. Do we have mechanical operation? But my thing is, when I did a compression test, it produced compression. It has to be able to take in air to be able to compress it, to produce compression. Call me crazy. Let me see if I can set this camera up and turn the engine over. You know what? I just read something on Identifix and it just didn't dawn on me. One guy had this problem. Oh, it's my brother. One guy had this problem and his coils were swapped. The plug was swapped. What if these connectors will just simply swap. I'm gonna swap these out and we're gonna see how it runs. Well, I'm just gonna say this. I'm embarrassed for one, but at the same time, at least I have a little bit of personal accountability. But it works now. Let me start up and let you hear it. So it runs perfectly fine now. How about that? Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. It really is, because I made mistakes, and I guess the cool thing is that I'm human. Trust me, behind the scenes, I can't begin to tell y'all, like, I am not perfect when it comes to like the diagnosing stuff sometimes, and I guess in all fairness, I didn't put this motor in here, so I don't know what I'm up against. It's crazy how some cross wires can just throw you all off. And I made mistakes evidently along the lines of diagnosing this when it came to just extracting the signal. But I thought, even though maybe if I was on the appropriate side, I could have went an extra mile in diagnosing this. I shouldn't have questioned the signal side of the fuel injector value, because normally, honestly, when I see injectors or some control side discrepancies, the values change, and it was my fault. That was my ignorance. I just thought maybe it had a good value and maybe it just didn't work. But at the same time, being that I was on the constant 12-volt supply, it didn't drop the signal off. I don't know why. I thought because it saw a load, you'll see some sort of waveform, but being that it was a constant 12 volts, it was the battery supply, and it wasn't strong enough to be able to pull the signal down, and I thought I was on a signal wire, so that was my fault. When I was diagnosing it, the values changed, and I didn't take the extra time to go to the signal side or the control side. That was my fault. So the good thing is it's fixed. The bad news is I wasted hours and hours of diagnosing, and I didn't have to, but I know more about this car than what I want to. And secondly, I got to eat $100. So the cost of diagnosing and assembling this stuff, yeah, I lose $100 out the deal, no big deal. But this guy did pay several $100s for all this stuff too. So take it how you want. I do got to put all this stuff back together still. I mean, the loss is going to cancel itself out at the end of the day once I do get this stuff done with. From a business aspect, I spent money gaining knowledge. So you're going to spend money one way or another, whether it's in time or making mistakes from a financial aspect. And I spent time doing this, acknowledging my fault, making those necessary improvements. So I hope that makes sense. I paid. I hope somebody take this as a lesson learned. Like, don't make the same mistake I did. We were right. Well, I was right the first time, but the second time I made an error. In all fairness, it was a good error, but that error could have cost this customer or cost me a lot more money. So I need to make sure that I don't put myself in a situation where I do this in the future. Yeah. So I'm not going to make this video long and drawn out. The main thing is this car is running perfectly fine. I still got to put the cosmetic stuff back on here and the bolts and all that other stuff. Again, the other shop didn't get back with me. I will call the customer, let them know what I achieved. And right now I'll just have a computer that I'm probably going to put on eBay to sell. So the good thing is it's running. That's the main thing. So there's some resolution to this video. So if anything happened, I'll definitely update. This conclusion of this M35 came in on a hook and it's going to leave driving on its own weight. But hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed how to return some work. See you on the next one.